Alright, so this is a video response to your, basically all your videos on prostitution. Now I saw only 4 of those videos, I think, and from what I could understand, your basic position is that sex is not okay. Sex is okay. Sex is not immoral. Now I would disagree with you on your basic position, because I think that sex is completely immoral, and and it's because sex is an unconscious act, and it deals with emotions. Emotions are the enemy of consciousness and rationality, as all of us know. So sex, for that very reason, is immoral. I consider anything that is unconscious, that deals with unconsciousness, to be immoral, and anything that is conscious and that is rational to be moral. Now, the people, I'm not really on the side of the people who are against sex for religious reasons or whatever. I'm simply on the side of logic, and logic dictates that sex is immoral. Sex, I'm not talking about any kind of sex. I'm not talking about any kind of reproduction or any kind of pleasure. Neither reproduction nor pleasure is immoral in themselves. It's simply the way that they are used that makes them immoral among humans. So it's the same with sex. I mean, any kind of sex is not immoral. It's simply sex as it occurs in human beings is a completely unconscious and emotional act. And not only sex, but all the things revolving around sex are also completely immoral. Another of your arguments are that the prostitutes lead wretched and miserable lives. So that should be the reason why we should legalize prostitution. Now, this is not a reason to legalize prostitution. You can come in India and see how many murderers and burglars and thieves lead, very miserable lives. I mean, compared to some prostitute in, America, the lives that they lead are just, there's no comparison between the misery of some poor person in India and a poor or wretched person in America. I mean, at least financially speaking. So anyways, just because many thieves and murderers live under bad conditions and live in misery doesn't mean that we should legalize those crimes. That's no reason to do that. And I'd also like to deal with the concept of consensual sex. Now, this whole concept of consensual sex is so ridiculous that I feel ashamed to meet it. I mean, I feel ashamed to point out what's wrong with this concept. And the fact that people don't see what's wrong with the concept really proves that people are essentially no better than animals. I mean, personally, I would say that the only difference between human beings and chimpanzees is that they're more intelligent. That's the only difference, So anyways, this consensual sex, a consent is a conscious agreement. Now, and sex as it occurs in human beings is an unconscious act. It's an act involving emotions. It is impossible to consciously agree to perform an unconscious act. It's a logical contradiction. So that is enough reason to dismiss the whole concept of consensual sex outright. Now, you'll probably be shocked and you'll probably think that, well, I'm crazy, but try to see the reason behind it. Instead of being shocked, instead of thinking with your emotions, try to just see the reason that I'm giving behind what I'm saying, and maybe, I mean, you are capable of rational thought, unlike many of the other people I've seen on YouTube. You are capable of rational thought, and just try to understand my position. I'm not really here to just own you or anything like that. I'm simply offering you the logical, solution to a problem. Really, yes, I am deconstructing your position, but at the same time, I am offering an alternative position. You simply have to see what that alternative position is. All right. So one more thing I'd like to talk about is the whole concept of morality. Now, there is a philosophy called postmodernism, and even modernism, I guess. Both the philosophies of postmodernism and modernism say that, well, morality is all subjective, truth is all subjective, but this is a wrong concept. Morality is not subjective. The fact that I think that sex is immoral is an absolute fact. That fact is as absolute as 1 + 1 = 2. And the fact that consciousness is the only morality there can be is also an absolute fact. Because the reason why only consciousness and only rationality can be considered to be moral is that the valuation is that morality itself can only be a product of consciousness. Consciousness allows us to distinguish between one thing and another, and the dichotomy of moral, immoral, good, evil is simply just another one of the distinctions that consciousness makes. So it logically follows that the only possible morality is consciousness and nothing else. So if an unconscious person is very kind, so to speak, then that unconscious person is not really being moral. He's simply being sympathetic. His actions are not moral. His actions may be a lot of other things, but his actions are not moral because he's not acting in consciousness. So that's cleared up, and that's it really. Have a nice one.